Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you tonight. This is going to be a review on the Royal Rumble from 1993. Watch this on the WWE Network. I've been having a little bit of a goal where I sit down every night and I watch a Royal Rumble every night, gearing up for the Royal Rumble 2015 coming up in a few weeks. And I really have always liked the Royal Rumble. When I go back and I watch a few of the older ones, I've been watching them starting with 89 to 93 here. They're not as good as I remember, and this is one of those shows that honestly only has one good match on it, and it's not the Rumble. This is a show that was held in Sacramento, California. It was held in Arco Arena, 1993. Getting a pay-per-view for the WWF was a pretty big deal. We got a lot of Superstars tapings. Saturday night's main event came here, but we had never got a pay-per-view, and it would be a long time before Sacramento got another one. But when I was growing up, I was 12 years old at this time. I do remember asking to go to the Rumble and not getting tickets. It was a little bit of a surprise, but it wasn't heartbreaking. I know that I made it very obvious to my friends when I lied to them about being at this show that I'm sure there was no way in the world they didn't know that I didn't go. Just like for an example, when I was trying to talk to them about the show and not knowing who won, I would always be, I forgot what happened, but I was there, but as far as I know, nobody ever called me out on it, but this is the show that, I don't know if I don't like this show because of the fact that they didn't get to go or what this was, but like I said earlier, there's only one good match on this show, and it's not the Rumble. Brett won the match, sharpshooter in the middle, as you can think of. It was good. This Royal Rumble, honestly, in my mind, it's probably one of the worst Rumbles I've seen so far as I've been, watching these. Starts out great. Ric Flair versus Bob Backlund drew number 1 and number 2. Backstory on this is basically off the success of last year's Royal Rumble. They probably did a huge buy rate. Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble, making him the champion because the championship was stripped. They came up with the idea whoever wins the Royal Rumble is going to be given the number 1 contendership shot at WrestleMania. There's still the same stipulation that we still use today. So everybody's fighting for that one. Flair, who won the last one, draws number 1. Big deal. He came out number 3 last time, and he was able to win it, so he'd be all right. Flair and Backlund, they fight around on during the ring. It's pretty good times. They're later. It's later in their career, but not way too later in their career. It was at the point when you were looking at Flair like he's not going to be able to go forever, and he ended up wrestling until 2013. So, Backlund ends up getting beat up and falling on the outside, and he's in this match for over an hour. But he doesn't really fight that much. He just, sells on the outside. What's pretty funny about this is that Ric Flair, after this match, loses a match the next night on Monday Night Raw to Mr. Perfect, which would be a loser leaves town match, which you would think that would be his last match in the WWF. That match was actually filmed 6 days before this because of the tape delay for Monday Night Raw. Kind of funny how they would tape delay a show that's supposed to be after a pay-per-view, but then again, I think everything was drawn out so much at this time they were able to do that. Do you think that WWF would be able to, do you think WWE would be able to do that with the writing staff that they have today? There's no way in the world they'd be able to try and book Monday Night Raws that were going to go on before pay-per-views, because I'm sure they're rewriting the pay-per-view up to the minute that they go on the air most of the time. But there's lots of nobodies in this one, especially when it comes down to the person's going to be main eventing WrestleMania. Sometimes I think that that's a bad stipulation for the Royal Rumble because of the fact that it's a bad deal to give somebody, because a guy like Virgil, Brian Knobbs, Papa Shango, those guys aren't going on to WrestleMania to be in the title match. So, you get a whole bunch of guys that just really aren't that great. The ring fills up before number 10, Mr. Perfect comes out. Mr. Perfect comes out and he's involved in a feud with Ric Flair. Of course, the loser leaves town match being the next night on Monday Night Raw. Perfect goes right after Flair. He eliminates him. Bobby Heenan goes bananas about this not being fair to Flair. Perfect comes off like the mega babyface, eliminating the guy that I think a lot of people thought had a good chance to win his second Royal Rumble in a row. Perfect fights off for a while before being eliminated by Coco and Ted DiBiase in a very not big deal at all. But he's the guy who eliminates, one of the guys that should have won the ding, and then he just gets jumped out like it's no big deal. From there we got Skinner, Coco Beware, Samu, the Berserker. Undertaker comes out, and he's the big deal at this point. Undertaker comes out, and he has that big moment where he just clears everybody out. Undertaker eliminates Ted DiBiase. He eliminates Tenryu. He eliminates Samu. The Berserker. Undertaker's dumping guys like crazy before finally we see Harvey Wimpleman walking down towards the ring, bringing a big, huge guy with him that would go on to become Giant Gonzalez, one of the biggest fails in WWF history. Gonzalez comes into the ring, is able to beat up and pretty much kill the Undertaker, leaving him laying on the outside after dumping him over the top rope. Giant Gonzalez leaves to the outside. We see Terry Taylor coming down to get into the Rumble, as well as IRS, before finally Paul Bearer comes down with the urn and retrieves the Undertaker and brings him to the back. It's just funny. You see the match going on the outside, and you see just Undertaker just laying there and selling, something that we really had never seen before. Nobody had ever gotten a chance to beat him. These guys will go on to WrestleMania 9 to have a match. But from there we go. Damien Demento, IRS, Tatanka, Jerry Sags, Typhoon, Fatu. Earthquake hits the ring. You see the breakup of the natural disasters coming. Earthquake, it's Royal Rumble rules, so you have no friends. It's everybody's your enemy because you're going after one goal to win the thing. Earthquake sees Typhoon as his biggest sort of opponent. So Earthquake goes right after Typhoon and eliminates him pretty fast. And you can tell that Typhoon's pissed. Once he drops him out, Earthquake tries to, make friends with Typhoon, just saying that it's just business and he's trying to get the win. And Typhoon wants nothing from there. Carlos Colon comes down. As soon as Carlos Colon hits the ring in a Royal Rumble, you know that the roster is really, really thin. Tito Santana, Rick Martel. Yokozuna comes down. He's number 27. He's going to be the big winner. Number 30 ends up being the big reveal of Randy Savage. Randy Savage gets a hot spot against Yokozuna, where basically he gets to climb to the top rope, and he hits the big flying elbow. Of course, they have to give Randy Macho Man Savage the aging star. You have to give Savage sort of the fallen hero. You're getting really old and you've forgotten the rules of this match. After he hits the big elbow, he goes to cover Yokozuna for the 1-2-3. The only problem is there's no pinfalls inside of this match. So basically Yokozuna kicks out from the non-existent 3 count. But during this 3 count from the floor in a pinning submission, basically Yokozuna is able to press slam Randy Savage over the top rope to get the win. From there, of course, you got Cleopatra, and you got I don't know who the Prince guy is, from basically the Las Vegas casino that's going to host WrestleMania, which would be Caesars. They come down, they congratulate Yokozuna. I remember thinking that was really cool. Them showing all the Japanese press taking pictures of Yokozuna. They're saying that he was going to be going on to WrestleMania. Thinking that, Sacramento was a big town and this actually was a really big moment. I didn't know at the time that, 1993 WWF was in the biggest fall of the wrestling history. And basically, they were crashing out because they didn't have Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior. They had lost a lot of their big names. They were in the youth movement involving like Bret Hart at the time being their champion. I don't know. This wasn't the best show. I tell you to pick a whole lot of the other ones, but it's one that I'm honestly able to say that I'm glad that I watched. I wish I would have been there. It would have been a ton of fun, but then again, I've got a ton of other wrestling memories, and sometimes thinking about those 6-hour Superstars tapings that I used to attend back in the day. They were pretty fun as well. So peace out, everybody. See you guys in the next review.